All right, now we're getting into the polynomial chunk of material. All right, so first couple of questions are going to deal with the end behavior of a polynomial. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. All right, so on question 22, they want us to determine the end behavior. When they say leading coefficient test, they really mean focusing on the leading term, kind of what we had been doing before. So you would take each of these functions and you would find the leading term. Now that one, it's real easy. They're in descending order already, so is that one. This one, you have to imagine that would have gotten multiplied out, so it would have been x squared and then would have had other stuff with it. And then the last one's already multiplied out, so its leading term is pretty obvious also. Okay. All right, so looking just at those leading terms, then we know this first one is going to have both ends down because it's negative x even. Okay, so it should look like a parabola that opens down. This one is positive, so this one was negative x even. This one is positive x to some odd number, so that means the ends are going to go in opposite direction and be basically rising. All right, this one has a positive x squared really for its leading term, so you know what those look like, parabolas that open up. And then the last one is, so this one was positive x even, and this one is a negative x odd. So it's going to be opening in opposite directions and basically falling. Okay. All right, and then you'll have some additional little questions that you do. So 6x to the third, so that should open like this. So it should fall to the left and rise to the right. Okay, it should have basically a positive slope, and it should open in opposite directions, so you know it should be C. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. This one can be a little bit harder because it's not in multiplied out form. And so you have to imagine, you have to kind of at least work out that leading term. So for this one, the leading term would turn out to be determined by taking the negative 5, then all the first times x squared, and then watch it on that last one. Remember what you've really got there is x minus 3 twice, so that's going to be another x squared. Right? So this would have been a negative 5 and x squared plus 3, and it would have been x minus 3 twice. So it turns out to be negative 5x to the fourth, really. And if it's negative 5x to the fourth, you know, there'd be other stuff going on, but if it's negative 5x to the fourth, you know that it has to open down because it's negative and even. So it falls to the left and falls to the right. Okay. All right, one more that I want to do before we move into some additional types of problems is this one's asking for the y-intercept of the graph. So remember the y-intercept is going to be what happens when x is 0. So you can just plug in a 0 everywhere there was an x and just work that out. So that would be 1 times a negative 6, and then here 0 minus 1 would be negative 1, but it's in parentheses being squared. So it'd be 1 times negative 6 times positive 1, so it would be negative 6. So it'd be B. Okay. You also could have done that one similar to how we get the leading term. You could consider all the last things. Okay. So like look at all the last numbers. So it'd be a 1 times a negative 6 times a negative 1 squared. Okay, looking at all the ends of these. Okay, and then work that out and get negative 6.